Thank you very much for taking the time to sit down with us today. You're involved with a pretty major endeavor, establishing a national popular vote for America. I guess before we get into the details of that, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Tom Golisano. I was originally an upstate New York resident. Now I'm a Florida resident. I spent 35 years of my life building a company called Paychex, which is a payroll processing company that operates nationwide. We have about 50,000 clients just in the California area. I retired from that position 5 or 6 years ago, and now I've gotten involved with the National Popular Vote quest, if you may. And basically what that is, in the United States of America, when we elect our president, we count electoral votes that are awarded to states, and then the states award them to candidates. That
we all see that on election night as they call each state and they put the numbers in the
red
columns.
States, blue states,
right.
They count the votes. Okay, a lot of people don't understand this process. In fact, 75% of Americans want it changed. And the largest reason they want it changed is because it's very possible, and it's happened 4 times in our history, which is 1 out of every 11 elections, which is significant,
sure.
where the candidate with the least amount of votes has won the presidency. The other dilemma that it's caused, when you watch the election results on Tuesday evening, they're talking about red states, blue states, battleground states, flyover states. Because of the electoral votes process that we have today, with the candidate getting the most electoral votes rather than the most votes, the thing that creates, the problem that creates, is a system where the candidate with the least amount of votes can become president. So most people in this country don't understand that. 75% of them would like to see it changed. And it's also created this dilemma where presidential candidates spend all their time campaigning in what's known as 15 battleground states.
Right, so here, for example, here in California, I mean, you could probably tell me, but I think the candidates for president combined, what do you think they spent here in California?
In 2008, they spent less than $35,000 combined.
So President Obama, or candidate Obama and John McCain came into California and scooped up tens of millions of dollars.
At least.
And then and spent less than $40,000 in the state.
Yeah. And California is not the only victim to this. I mean, other major
we may be the
states,
most extreme example.
Probably, but Texas, New York, and so forth. So what the National Popular Vote Bill is all about is states have the right to change this system. They can actually create an environment where the candidate who gets the most votes always wins the presidency. And the great thing about that is now everybody's vote in the entire country will count. So when they wake up Wednesday morning and they're looking at their TV, there's 2 questions. Which candidate won? Was it my candidate? And 2, did my vote count in that total? And that is a great feeling for an American. Now, one of the other benefits of the fact that we go to a national popular vote where the candidate with the most votes wins, I think it's going to incentivize a lot of people to vote. When you have 200 million people that are in these flyover states where they don't see candidates, and it's sort of predetermined where their electoral votes are going to go, why vote? And
well, maybe we're also all believers in the free market. I mean, in politics, campaigns aren't going to invest in a turnout the vote infrastructure and encourage you to vote with commercials and mailers and precinct organizations if they don't need your vote.
That's
if
exactly
your vote's not going to matter.
That's exactly right. So the combination of the candidate with the most votes winning, the theorem that every vote counts equally, and the third creates a real incentive for people to vote.
So if you would, share with the people watching, how does your plan work? How do you implement this change?
Okay. And I think you're also going to be surprised how far along we are. Let me tell you how the change will work. First of all, it's important to know in the Constitution of the United States, the way or process of electing the president is delegated to the states. The states actually sign compacts or agreements among themselves that they would, in this particular case, use the winner-take-all theory process we have now. So all we need to do now is have the state legislatures and the governors decide we're going to do this by popular vote.
And you really only need
270.
Right, half plus
right.
1.
Plus 1.
Because once half the people plus 1 sign on, it's kind of like the rest of them. Either.
Right. Now let me tell you where we are with a very limited resources and time and money. One individual, John Koza of California, has gotten 6 states and the District of Columbia to sign up on this. They've already passed it in their state legislatures. We have 30% of the electoral votes needed already. We're hoping California can be a tipping point. And if we add on California's electoral votes to that 76, we're halfway home. And I think that will create an environment of interest and activity and people paying attention to it and so forth. I think we could make it happen. The goal is to make it happen by the end of 2012, and it would take effect in the 2016 election.
Wow. So if you were somebody from California and you thought this was a good idea, really your target audience are state legislators. You need to reach out to your state senator, your state assembly member,
Right.
and talk to them. If somebody watching this wants to get more educated on the issue, you have a website?
We have a website called National Popular Vote. It's a tremendous website. It gives you all the reasons why it should be done, and it gives you some of the myths concerning, people saying, well, we have this question, this problem.
Which is good, because a lot of the people watching this video,
Yeah.
questions are going to come up that
Oh,
they're
sure.
going to have that we won't have talked about in this short interview, and that's going to be where they can find out
The
more.
website delineates those myths very appropriately, very simple to understand, very clear.
Thank you very much for spending some time with us today. It's a pretty major endeavor, and so we'll look forward to hearing more about it. And to you Flash Report watchers, right at the close of this video, we'll have a link directly to the National Popular Vote website. You can check out more information about it, and we'll be hearing more and covering more about this issue as it becomes and looms larger as they get closer and closer to the magic number of 271.